Sometimes it's hard for you to clearly see just how you're gonna keep it together. Your obligations and responsibilities, how you gonna meet them ends, how you gonna make it one more time. Now let's hear the truth of it. You are much, much more than this. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Oh, haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. Yeah, you are. La 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 la. I know sometimes it's hard to hold your head up high and show the world you got it together. You think of things that make you wonder, run and hide. Who would love you if they knew who you're? Who could you trust to understand? Now let's hear the truth of it. You are loved much more than this. Haven't you heard? Oh, haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. You're not the things you have done. You're not the words that you said, or the heartache that you're going through. Oh, you are the bright of the sun. You are the glow of the moon. And in your presence, the things that seem dark fade away, away, away. Haven't you heard? You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? In you there's no darkness. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the bread, you're the wine, the word. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard? You're the light of the universe. You're the light lighting up the world. Haven't you heard? Haven't you heard?
So with that, I'd like us to anchor in prayer right here and right now. So if you so choose, allow your eyes to gently close, recognizing right here and right now as we breathe in that each one of us is deeply connected to the all that is. For there's only one life. That life is God. That life is everywhere present. And I know right here and right now, it is my very life. And so right here and right now, I know that I'm inseparable from all that is. I'm inseparable from love. I'm inseparable from peace. And as I know this to be true about myself, I know it to be true for each and every one within the sound of my voice. And right now, I declare peace. I declare the peace that resides within us to reveal itself through every cell, every tissue, every fiber, every molecule of our being. I declare love to reveal itself through every cell, every tissue, every molecule of our being. And right now, all of the ways that we have been not accepting ourselves are simply dissolved and dissipated as we right now recognize all of the gifts of ourselves, all of the gifts of our body, all of the ways that it has totally and completely supported us in our lives. And we simply say, yes, I love you. I'm grateful for you. And so I declare peace within us. I declare love within us. And I know that as each and every one of us do this, peace reveals itself fully and totally on this planet, that we reveal peace everywhere, that we have the strength and the courage to deeply practice these beautiful principles of science of mind, of oneness, that we live in oneness, and we have the courage and the strength to be love, to be peace, to be oneness on this planet. And knowing that this community is absolutely abundantly blessed, that everything that is needed and necessary pours upon it right now, that wherever every heart is, that whatever the need is, the desire is within the heart, that right now the infinite overflowing presence of life says yes, and that we are fulfilled in this moment. So for this day, for this time, for this opportunity to be with you, I am so deeply grateful. I am so deeply grateful for the bright, shining point of light that this spiritual community is. I celebrate the work that you do in the world, and I call forth for greater and greater work to be done. And for this and for so much more, I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, and with gratitude and love, I allow it to be. And so it is.
There's a time of the day when the sun's going down. That's the golden time of day. It's the time that the sun turns to gold all around. That's the golden time of day. At the end of the day, when the wind is soft and warm, ooh-wee, don't it make the flowers sway? When the sun settles down and it takes a lovely form, ooh-wee, that's the golden time of day. Whoa, 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 whoa. golden time of day. People, let me tell you, there's a time in your life when you find who you are. Don't you know that's the golden time of day? And in your mind you will find you're a bright shining star. And now that's the golden time of day, when you feel deep inside all the love you're looking for. Hey now, don't that make you feel okay? Like the time of the day when the sun's going down. That's the golden time of day. Ooh-wee. That's the golden time of day. Ooh, hey, that's the golden time of day.
Shining, can't you see it shining?
And the golden time of day.
Can't you see it shining?
Let it shine, let your light shine, shine,
Can't you see it
shine,
shining? Shining, can't you see it shining?
all in my heart, all in my soul. Let it shine,
Can't you
all in
see
your
it shining?
heart, all in your soul. Let your light shine, let it shine,
Can't you see it shining?
shine. It's golden time of day.
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream for this Sunday, October the 19th, the third Sunday in the month of October. I'm so glad that you've joined us for this morning's Heartstream. Thank you as always for your support. Thank you for everything that you do. Want to remind you that at Unity Christian Church, we are moving toward the 73rd church anniversary, which will be next Sunday. And we invite you to come out. We're having Pack the Pews Sunday. There will be a special dinner afterwards, and we're looking for you to come out and to celebrate with us, as this church has a very powerful legacy and a long history, and we want to come out and celebrate that. Again, also, we have the opportunity for yoga there, and there are other things that will be coming up in the month of November. But again, this wonderful partnership that we have and the opportunity for those of you that are in the Memphis area to attend those events. And in particular, I hope that you will come and join us on next Sunday. We want to also continue to remember our country, to remember our community here in Memphis, thinking about the occupation that is taking place here with the forces, different law enforcement agencies here, the National Guard, and a lot of the things that are happening with the traffic stops and arrests and raids and everything else. These are times in which we have to truly, truly hold on to and truly turn to our faith and turn to the spirit within to continue to be encouraged. I was talking with someone the other day. As a matter of fact, I was on a panel for Sister Reach last week. And one of the things I discussed was how, in the midst of all of this, to continue to have hope and to preach hope and to preach and to express the ideas that there are some things that we can do. And more importantly, there's some ways in which we can think and understand and conduct ourselves in a way that we are spiritual activists, as you hear me use the phrase quite often. I'd like to also thank you for your financial contributions to Open Heart, the way in which you share and spread the news of our Heartstream, and also the things that we do at UCC. And as always, I greet you, I bless you, I see God in you.
Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day.
There are several ways to give to Open Heart: through our Cash App at OHSC901, online at OHSC901.com, or text the word GIVE to 615-422-4290.
A powerful way to start or continue your day is with our daily prayer call. Each morning, at 8 a.m. Central Time, a prayer team member provides an inspirational reading and an affirmative prayer. Join us at 901-586-8755.
I am fit to thrive in 2025. Together, let's get our bodies, minds, and spirits aligned for the fall and winter seasons. Our instructor is P.A. Bomani, better known as Coach P.A., the founder of Stretch Chocolates. During the month of October, we will begin at 9 a.m. And remember, it's $10 per person per class. Come out and improve your strength, balance, and flexibility. Hope you will join us. Hey, if you're in the Memphis area, each week you're invited to come out to Unity Christian Church, 3345 McCorkle Road, to join us for our Sunday celebration. This isn't just about John speaking, but it's about an opportunity for two powerful, wonderful congregations to come together. That's right, because we have people from Open Heart who join in singing, who work as platform assistants, and other things that happen on those Sundays. And if you're here, it's an opportunity for you to come out and to share with us. If you're not able to be here in person, you can always stream with us at Unity Christian Church, both on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. Hope to see you soon.
A legacy of truth, a season of renewal. Gratitude for the journey, joy for what's ahead. Come celebrate with us. For 73 years, our community has been a vessel of truth and transformation. Today, we honor that legacy as we open to Spirit's renewing power, celebrating new life, new vision, and the unfolding of God's good.
Because open heart, help me sing. Here we go. I am grateful. I am thankful. I appreciate and I celebrate. Voices of open heart, help me sing that love song. I am grateful. I am thankful. I appreciate
grateful. I am thankful. I appreciate and I celebrate. I appreciate and I celebrate. I appreciate and I celebrate. One more time. I appreciate and I celebrate. 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 I appreciate and I celebrate.
This is the time for us, y'all, to sit in gratitude, feeling grateful, feeling thankful for all that we have. Everywhere you look, something to be grateful for. Up high, down low, in the middle, all over. So much, so much, so much to be grateful for.
Grateful heart.
Grateful heart,
Grateful
grateful mind,
Grateful life.
grateful life.
Grateful, grateful heart. Grateful mind. Grateful life. Grateful, grateful
Home field advantage. I know that here in Memphis and in talking with people in other parts of the country, it's kind of the same for many people. And that is that the weather, it gives us hints of fall weather, but then we get the warmer weather and it goes back to fall. And I know that, we're supposed to be having a cold front coming through, but whenever it gets to fall, it makes me think of football. And while I like high school football, I like the NFL, what I really like is college football. But nothing prepared me for college football when I moved to Tennessee, what it was like here in particular, because where I went to school at Ohio University for undergrad, we didn't have at that time a particularly impressive or good football team. What people came to the games was to see the band. We had a really outstanding band. People would come, they would watch the band perform at halftime, and when halftime was over, they would leave. And probably by the time that the game was over, there'd be only maybe a third of the stadium that of fans that was left. So when I got to Tennessee, and I got an opportunity to travel to Knoxville to see the UT Vols, University of Tennessee Vols play. They, in fact, were playing the Georgia Bulldogs. And as you know, how about them dogs? That was an intense rivalry. And I can remember traveling there and with the group, and as we were going there, and I was pointing out the fact that Georgia was slightly favored to win that particular game. As a matter of fact, they were ranked higher than Tennessee, and it was going to, be an intense game. I could already tell that just by the things that people were talking about that particular week. And when I mentioned that to one of the people in the group that I was traveling with, they kind of laughed. I said, okay, that's all right. I know Georgia is predicted to win. They're predicted to have the advantage, but we've got home field advantage. And so when we arrived at the stadium and I walked into the stadium, it was really unlike anything I had seen before, because there were just throngs of fans that were outfitted in their orange and white. And, there were vans decorated. People had their children wearing outfits with UT colors on it, and all of that. Even was talking to a man, when I looked in his mouth, he had UT on his teeth. I mean, there were so many things like that I had never seen before. And then walking in the stadium where there were a huge amount of fans that were there. And you had probably 3/4 of the stadium that were the UT colors, and then you had the red for the Georgia Bulldogs. And it was just fascinating. And ultimately, even though Georgia was favored to win, Tennessee pulled it off. They won. I guess, home field advantage meant something. It actually meant something. But I was just fascinated by all of the excitement and things that were there, the people who were there that were cheering it on. And it was definitely an experience for me, one for the record books, or my own record books, if you will, because I'd never seen a celebration and things like that, the way that people at that time were pulling for the team. I've seen more of that recently, but that was an experience for me. And one of the things that I thought about was this whole idea of home field advantage. Home field advantage is something that we can experience all the time, even now. And it doesn't have to be tied to football, because as I looked at some of the factors related to the game, and I thought about this idea of home field advantage, there's some things I want to lift up today. And when I think about that, here you have a stadium full of people that were cheering for the Volunteers, this stadium of people who were celebrating them. One of the things that to point out is that there was a collective energy. The collective energy. You had all of these people focus on a thing, and that was the goal, which was winning. Of course, the UT side, the UGA side, it was something different. But understanding that on the UT side, they had this collective energy that was caught up in cheering the team on. I was telling a friend the other day who's writing a book about that idea of collective energy, that when you surround yourself with people who are working on some things where you have that collective energy. I talked about when I was writing my book and how I spent a lot of time in coffee shops because there was that energy there. Other people who were there, whatever they were doing, they were working. I even joined a writing group, and we would gather together once a week at a restaurant, and the restaurant had a back room where we would sit, and we would first begin talking about what we were working on, or sometimes we didn't, but we would just write. And there was something, again, about the idea of being caught up in that collective energy, that positive energy, that collective energy. The second thing is about a collective understanding. The fact that the people there wasn't much need for explanation. They knew why they were there. They understood things about their team. They understood about the shared legacy of the school, of the football program, and all of that. And they were there because of that. And they found a bond, if you will, a common bond, because there were so many things that happened during that experience that just let me know about that common bond. And I know that even though as people dispersed from there, they went back to their various places and their various ways of being, in that moment, it was a collective energy that was their collective understanding, that was there, a shared legacy. In the same way, we as truth students, we also have the opportunity to share in this legacy. We have a legacy that is powerful, a legacy that comes from people like Ernest Holmes and Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and Joseph Murphy and Neville Goddard and Marcus Garvey and many other people, New Thought pioneers who share this idea of truth and who serve and work as truth students and understanding that. We have that. And the other part of that was the fact that people were not alone. Again, you had this massive crowd. And while, a lot of times we would talk about how having a big crowd can be important, but there are other times where looking for the crowd when the crowd may not show up. But in this moment, anybody who was there who was a volunteer fan was not alone. They had many other people around them. And it makes me think about the story of Elijah when he was running from Jezebel and he found himself in the cave. And we know the story where the still small voice, ultimately he discovers God in the still small voice. And then he gets the assurance that while he says that I alone am the only one who hasn't given in, I'm the only one, he gets the reminder that there are 7,000 others who also have not given in, that you are not alone. So there's something to be said from this experience. And I think it's important because I know that we get to a certain point where we are working to free ourselves from the negative opinions of people, but also the positive opinions of people, because we are working on that so that the outside influences and all of that don't matter. However, I know it might sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm going to go on the record and say that there are times when it just feels good to know that people are rooting for us, right? That when we have put in an effort, we have done things, to have people who acknowledge that, people who are rooting for us, people who see the truth, people who hold the truth and hold the space for us, even sometimes when we can't see it ourselves. It's just to know that when you made the effort to put on something nice, maybe you added some makeup, maybe you have put on a special tie, maybe you've got a special shirt or whatever else it is that you have done, and for somebody to notice it, somebody to say something about it, it's just some every now and then it feels good to hear that. It's something that we all like to have, something that we all like to experience. We have to have people that are in our corner. We like to have people that notice us. We like to have people that hold us in the highest regard and see us from a spiritually exalted, highly spiritually exalted point of view, who see us and they understand us. It's just good to have home field advantage. And when we have that, we have people pulling for us in this way. it just does something for us. I think about how when I was still in Dallas and attending seminary, and during that time, I had the opportunity to spend my internship at a church there, Highland Park United Methodist Church. Highland Park was, before there were mega churches, we're hearing about all the time now, mega churches. Before then, they back at that time were a large church. Before I think even the term mega church had even been invented, they were a church that had over between 7,000 to 9,000 members, somewhere in there. And it was a huge church. Even talking about football, the former coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry, was a member of that church. But it was a big deal. And I was an intern there. I was the first Black person that they had on the pastoral staff. And I had the opportunity to preach in the chapel. And that was a big deal, that we would preach in the chapel, because they had the large sanctuary and then they had the chapel. 3 services in the large sanctuary, 3 services in the chapel. And my time to preach came. And I can remember I was nervous. This was a big thing for me. And I remember when I stepped into the pulpit and I started out with my sermon. And as I started speaking, I heard this voice go, "Amen." And everything stopped. Everybody stopped. Everybody was looking around. And as I said a few more words, "Amen," looked around again. Other people were looking around again, "Amen." And what I realized was that I was a part of, during my internship, the pastoral care staff. And the wife of the person who was the director of pastoral care, she was a person we had bonded, and she had come to support me. And she told me later, "Well, I know that, in your tradition, you're used to people saying, responding back to you." So while I was preaching, she was saying, "Amen." Now it sort of threw me off. Part of it is because the way she was pronouncing the word. Second of all, the rhythm was kind of off. She was just kind of randomly saying it. And, but I was appreciative for her effort. I was appreciative for her support. I understood in that moment she was trying to make me feel good, that as if I was at home, that I had somebody, if nobody else out in the congregation, because I knew nobody else was going to say anything. They just weren't that kind of church. They were just a very quiet church. But that I had somebody that was in my corner. I had somebody that was rooting for me. And that was a wonderful feeling. It was a great feeling. Have somebody there, and to have somebody pull for you, somebody who is there for you, who encourages you, just how vitally important that is. And so that's what I experienced that particular time, that particular day. And I think that as we look at these things, having somebody on your side, having Homefield Advantage is something that is important, something that, again, I'm here to talk about this morning. And I think about how in the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, if you will, if we look back and look at the history of what is happening there, what is taking place, it's about the stories of where you have all of these groups of people that are living together who are from different tribes, different groups, if you will. And each of those groups had their own particular deity, their own particular God. Some had more than one, but they had one that they worshiped. They had one that they were beholden to, if you will. And so you had them, and they were living in these this collective area together. They would oftentimes battle with one another. They would have fights over land and even fights over who had the superior God. And the Israelites were no different. They also had their deity, which they followed. And one of the things is that in one of the understandings, and I know we get this idea that people will talk about the different names of God, and you've heard me talk about that. I really think it's more about the qualities of God. But in this particular case, one of the ways in which God was addressed or referred to was El Shaddai. El Shaddai. And El Shaddai, one way of translating it, means God of the mountain or Lord of the mountain. And the understanding was for the people in that region is that for the Israelites, their God, that's where their God inhabited, was the mountains. And so what would happen very often is when you think about this, the belief that there was God, the Lord of the mountain, where Israel resided, we can go back and we can look at some other particular scriptures where there's references, there are constant references to mountains. If we think about the Psalm where I will lift up my eyes to the hills, where from whence cometh my help comes from the Lord, the hills being the mountain. And we read through the scriptures and we find mountains playing prominent parts in the prominent places. You know, places like Mount Nebo and Mount Carmel and Mount Sinai and Mount Ararat and Mount Zion and many of those. And even today we have churches that have named themselves for those particular mountains that were contained in the Old Testament. But the idea was that Israel's God, El Shaddai, was located in the mountains. And what would happen is that when Israel was battling another group, battling another tribe, and if they found themselves at a disadvantage, what they would do is they would turn and they would flee and they would run to the mountains. And as they ran to the mountains as a place of refuge, their enemy would stop and say, wait a minute, we're at a disadvantage now because if we follow them, that's where their God resides. And so for them, the Israelites were seeking home field advantage. Home field advantage. They were seeking a place to go which provided them with the opportunity to be able to become victorious when the odds were against them. It reminds me of the story of the eagle who will pick the snake up off of the ground. The eagle doesn't try to fight the snake on the ground, but it lifts the snake up, it picks the snake up, and it carries it up into the sky. And up in the sky where the eagle has taken the snake has no stamina. The snake has no stamina. It has no power and no balance in the air. And while it might have been powerful on the ground, now all of a sudden it's weak and it's vulnerable. And unlike where when it's on the ground, it's wise and deadly. And if we think about this, that the realm of the snake is material and the realm of the eagle is spiritual, lifting high. The realm of the material is where fear resides, but the realm of the spirit is where there's only love. A miracle is a shift from the snake to the eagle or from fear to love. It lifts the mind to a higher level of wisdom and power, hardly weakening us, but rather giving us victory over those forces that will otherwise defeat us. When I say this, understanding that ultimately what home field advantage means, if we take into the idea again, those for as true students, the fact is that there is no spot where God is not. We consider ourselves to be God in expression. We talk about God lives, the God in which we live, move, and have our being. We even sing the song. One of the songs I love to sing is, I am the place where God shows up. I'm a place where God lives, moves, and breathes, and have its being. So if you take that to its full extension, to its natural extension, what it ultimately is saying to us is that when we know the truth, and the truth being that there is no place where God is not, that God is within us, that God is all around us, that God goes before us, that God undergirds us, that God continues to abide with us. That no matter where you are, God is. No matter what it is that you are doing, you've got home field advantage. And in this time and place, you are never at a disadvantage because of that home field advantage. And so when life wants to deal you this or that, when the battles or contests or your circumstances or whatever else it might be, you might have been discouraged before. You might have seen that. You might have seen that things might look impossible, seem impossible, feel impossible. But here's the thing. Because we are understanding There is no place where God is not, because we do understand how important it is to have that within us expressing itself. We have always, always, always home field advantage. So in these times where we find our faith being tested, and yes, our faith is being tested in these moments, the things that we see happening in our world, particularly happening in this country, we can feel as if we are up against insurmountable odds. We are up against some challenging and some tough odds, but they are not insurmountable, because with God, you and I have home field advantage. And so it is.
I thank you for being so real and touching me, letting me see what a beautiful world this world is, and I thank you for all that's revealed. Well, you're changing me and opening my time, blinded eyes to see my glorious possibilities. I like this song. Oh, and I pray for strength to keep seeing just